England just announced that every Englishman over the age of 18 automatically become organ donors with ability to opt out. How do you feel about this? My dad died at 36 due to a sudden and unpredicted bout of heart attack. He was not a drinker or drug user. Didn't even have high blood pressure. His death certificate literally says, first symptom, death. My mom and I still regret that it didn't even occur to us to donate his organs until 2 or 3 days afterward, when the fog began to lift from our stunned minds. My dad was a generous and adventurous person with terrific eyesight and a strong physique. And I know he would love the idea of both living on in some way and helping someone else continue their journey. I wish we had default donation in my state. My dad died from a sudden bout of heart attack too. I've always been for the idea of organ donation. My dad wasn't bothered either way. Always said when he dies to just leave him in a bin bag for the council to collect, haha. But when they asked me about it I said no. At the time I just couldn't even comprehend letting them cut him open and take parts of him away. I feel awful about it now. I could have saved someone's life and probably taken comfort in the idea that a part of him was still alive somewhere. I'm in the dead dad from but of unexpected heart attack club as well, and I remember my mom explaining to me that parts of him were going to other daddies, and it was an enormous comfort even to my young heart. It made his death feel less irreconcilable and pointless. On the opposite end, my dad needed a double lung transplant when I was a kid due to his alpha 1. A young man had suddenly butted away in a mountain biking accident and, thankfully for my dad, was a donor. His wicked biker lungs allowed my dad to live for an additional 8 years. After he was meant to die, he sent emails to the mother of the deceased man to show her the life that her son saved, and he sent pictures of me and my siblings. She said it was helpful for her grieving to see that he had saved our family. I still feel thankful for that guy. It's sad that he died so young, but his generosity gave me another 8 years with my father. Choking up here. What a beautiful extension of his life, and you sharing the story furthers that. It's a good idea, as long as people have the ability to opt out if they want to, which you mentioned they do, then there's nothing wrong with it. BTW, those who are incapable of opting out due to the mental inability to comprehend it or something like that are on the no-no list. Yeah, they already can't be organ donors. Fine with it. I think we need more organ donors. When I'm dead and gone and finished, then I cannot be diminished. Take my nose and chest and triceps. Take my toes and breast and biceps. Take my eyes and thighs and lashes. Take my hair for men's mustaches. Take my chin and choose a brother. Take my skin to match a mother. All my bits and all my pieces. All my tiny cracks and creases. Take them. Seize them. Blend them. Bleed them. Use them all. Cause I won't need them. I've seen wholesome sprogs and creepy sprogs, but never both simultaneously. It's not wholesome, more piecemeal, if you catch my drift. Boo-hoo. Here's your upvote. He wasn't an Englishman, but like John Prine said, please don't bury me down in that cold ground. I'd rather have them cut me up and put me all around. Throw my brain in a hurricane. The blind can have my eyes. The deaf can take both my ears if they don't mind the size. Sounds like a smart guy. No wonder he wanted to carry on brainstorming after he died. Because no one should be giving any money to Reddit's award system, I will acknowledge your comment by simply stating, gold. I'll second that announcement. Absolutely golden. I can't even play the piano. What would I do with an organ? Donate it. It's a win-win, an idea whose time has come. I've already donated an organ to a university music department for student practice. When I die, my bodily organs will be donated as well. Your bodily organs will be donated to the university music department as well. XD. Hey, if they can figure out a way to play those ones. Brings a whole new meaning to the term bagpipes. Apostrophe. I was gonna go with the old trombone joke, but this one is better. I feel like framing Reddit's popular opinion as a question is an easy way to gain karma. Op knows exactly how Reddit feels about this shit. I guess all the English women get to keep their organs. Not just the Englishmen, but the English women and English children too. He'll save the children, but not the British children. For those asking why would anyone consider opting out, I recently watched a video in which a mom explained how she lost her baby to SIDS. They found the baby unresponsive after his nap, air-flighted him to the hospital, and were able to get his heart started again. But he had no brain activity from oxygen deprivation, so he wouldn't be able to breathe on his own, and would die if unhooked from all his machines. The baby's organs were all perfectly healthy, so staff approached the mother about organ donation to save another baby's life. Although the parents ultimately did choose organ donation, they explained that it was a big struggle. I was confused about that until they explained why it was a struggle. For context, when a baby is in intensive care, it's hard to hold them because all the tubes and wires are in the way. In most modern bereaved parent of infant situations, the school of thought is that it is less traumatic to the parents if the child is allowed to be with them for some time after he or she is unhooked from machines. Most parents hold their baby while he or she dies, etc. In some progressive countries, they even have refrigerated cribs so that parents can take their baby home for a few days and grieve in their own way. This is way different than the past, when doctors thought taking a dead child away as soon as possible, before the parents could see it, was best to reduce trauma. Spoiler alert, it's not. Anyhow, these folks knew their baby was going to die, but in order for organ donation to occur, he needed to be unhooked in the OR, because they transplant the beating heart of infant directly into the other baby. So these parents sacrificed their morning time with their child's body and didn't get to hold him as he stopped breathing, etc. in order to give another child the gift of life. Just offering perspective that people who are hesitant about organ donation are not monsters, and perhaps more awareness of these situations will ultimately lead to more people choosing selflessness. To piggyback off your comment, if you want to donate your body to a medical school, you need to opt out on the donor register, as they usually require intact bodies. With ability to opt out, sounds fine to me. How do you feel about this? I feel that other countries too should do this. Sweet here. I'm all for it. I don't see why I'd need my body if I'm dead. I would be a bit worried about someone getting my liver. Reminds me of an episode of House where this old dude couldn't find a donor heart or liver, so House ended up giving him one with syphilis or something. Saved his life, but gave him an STD. And there was another time when he transplanted a heart that would normally be considered unsuitable. It came from an overweight 50-something thing, but since the recipient was also 70 or so, he wasn't looking for a heart with a multi-decade shelf life. For all I care, you can sacrifice my earthly remains to Cthulhu once I'm gone. So what are you up to this weekend? I know a guy. Can I join? What's your blood type, and are you a strong swimmer? Not asking for any particular reason. Just curious. B+ and I'm an okay swimmer. Im from the UK. Im annoyed this wasn't already a thing. I signed up to be an organ donor on my 18th birthday. I've got no use for my organs when I die. Let them save lives, or be used for research. I thought this was already a thing. But then I'm from Wales, so not sure if we've had it for longer. We are usually the guinea pigs. Yeah. For us in Wales it's been around for a few years. If I'm dead, then give them to someone else who needs them. If I do come back as a zombie, then I'll just go take someone else's. They can take my organs when they pry them from my cold, dead body. What if it's still warm? I'm dead. May as well be useful for once in my life. I'm dead. I'm glad that hasn't got in the way of you having your say. If it wasn't for organ donation, I would be dead. I'm on my second kidney transplant. The second being from a deceased donor whose photo I have framed in my house to keep her with me and to remind me how she has helped. I had been on dialysis for 5 years prior to my second transplant and wasn't in the best of places as I had started to lose hope. So thank you, Lauren, for giving me another chance. 7.5 months so far and doing well. My best friend has been in the hospital and was just put on the wait list yesterday for a liver transplant. It's hard to stay positive, but this post gave me a bit of hope that I've been needing so badly. Thank you. So happy to hear you're doing well. Close bracket. Glad I could help, even if only a little boost. Fingers crossed for your friend. I live in Austria, and this is a normal thing here for years. The only people that make to effort to opt out are Jehovah's Witnesses. That's fine. People who feel strongly about not donating still have the option. I'd be less fine with it if that freedom is stripped of them. I say this as an organ donor myself. I think it's still very important to give people the freedom to do what they want with their bodies. We all know how Reddit feels about this. But what about the English women? And the English children too? They're animals. And I slaughtered them like animals. I hate them. Did you at least donate their organs? Fantastic. What took so long? Boris had to wait until his organs were no longer eligible before he butted the law. Just kidding. I'm English and think this is a great move. I've always been meaning to get a donor card, but never got round to it. Now I know my laziness won't cost someone's life being saved if I die. Wales has had it for a while, so I guessed it was coming good. It's a good plan and could really help people. Username checks out. I'm going to disagree with the hiver mind here and say it's a bad idea. One of the cornerstones of medical ethics is informed consent. i.e., docs need consent from informed patients before they do anything to those patients. Obviously, consent is buttoned in cases of emergency, but beyond that docs need to explain the procedure, the risks, and benefits before doing pretty much anything. It has never been accepted for good reason that docs can do something unless you specifically tell them not to, aside from DNR orders. But that's a special thing, and it's wrong to adopt it as policy here. The family of the deceased still has to give consent. This is not a forced scenario. If they can find an organ that isn't damaged in me, feel free, but I don't have hope. Hell no. My immediate reaction is to oppose this action. I don't think the state has a claim on my body, even post-mortem. It kind of seems like a consent thing to me. Like I should have to positively consent to it in order to make clear what my wishes are so there can't be any kind of doubt. Aren't we trying to preach that consent cannot be presumed in an organ donor BTW and encourage everyone else who is comfortable to be one too? A good friend of mine who butted away was able to improve the lives of many people because of this selfless act. Long as they're not harvesting like China, organ donation is a good thing. Keeps the live ones living. Unless you're a ruler in China, then the live ones keep the other live ones living. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you want more videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. You are helping me a lot. Thanks again.